What happens when the president's own son is found guilty in a federal court? Hunter Biden's conviction isn't just a personal tragedy, it's a political earthquake shaking the foundations of the White House. Gun charges, addiction, courtroom drama, and media frenzy. This case has it all. But here's the real question. Is this justice finally served or just a distraction from something even bigger? And how will this impact the 2026 elections? Before you make up your mind, let's uncover the full story behind the headlines. Because in American politics, nothing is ever just black and white. Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, was convicted in a federal court on 3 felony counts related to illegal possession of a firearm while being a drug user. The case stemmed from a 2018 incident in which Hunter purchased a handgun, falsely declaring on federal forms that he was not using illegal drugs. However, his own memoir and later investigations revealed he was battling cocaine addiction at the time. This led to charges of lying on a gun application and unlawful possession of a firearm, despite his defense arguing that he was not actively using drugs at the precise moment of the purchase. The jury found him guilty on all counts after a short deliberation. This marks the first time in US history that the child of a sitting president has been convicted of a felony. The ruling has set off a storm of political debate, legal scrutiny, and media frenzy, especially during an already turbulent election cycle. For many Americans, this case isn't just about Hunter, it's about the intersection of justice, politics, and presidential accountability in a deeply divided nation. Republicans have seized upon Hunter Biden's conviction as a major political weapon. Many in the GOP argue that the conviction is just the tip of the iceberg and that the real crimes are tied to alleged overseas business dealings, influence peddling, and access to the Biden family name. Prominent voices like Donald Trump and House Republicans claim that the justice system is only scratching the surface and that the real investigation should focus on whether President Biden benefited financially from Hunter's foreign ventures in China and Ukraine. Some Republican lawmakers renewed calls for impeachment inquiries into President Biden, insisting that the Hunter case is evidence of a larger pattern of corruption. The timing couldn't be more politically explosive, especially as the 2026 midterms loom. Conservative media has flooded the airwaves with segments linking Hunter's behavior to questions of Joe Biden's leadership, parenting, and honesty. While the actual charges against Hunter were unrelated to business corruption, the symbolic value of the conviction fuels right-wing narratives about a compromised presidency. For Republicans, this scandal may serve as a unifying rallying cry heading into election season. Democrats have responded to Hunter Biden's conviction with caution, empathy, and attempts to separate the personal from the political. President Biden issued a brief statement saying he respects the legal process and will not pardon his son, hoping to contrast his approach with that of Donald Trump, who has openly floated pardons for January 6 rioters. Biden emphasized his son's struggles with addiction, framing the matter as a human tragedy rather than political wrongdoing. First Lady Jill Biden and other family members showed visible support during the trial, attending court sessions and standing by Hunter. Democrats in Congress are largely avoiding the issue in public, but are working behind the scenes to ensure the scandal doesn't overshadow key legislative efforts or the president's re-election campaign. Liberal media outlets have highlighted the fact that Hunter's charges had nothing to do with Joe Biden's policies or presidency. Yet the risk of political fallout remains high. Democrats are aware that voters may perceive the conviction as a sign of family dysfunction or moral weakness, potentially impacting swing voters and moderates. Hunter Biden's conviction has ignited a media frenzy across the political spectrum. Right-leaning outlets like Fox News and the New York Post have dedicated extensive airtime and front-page space to the scandal, often tying it to conspiracy theories and corruption allegations involving the entire Biden family. Left-leaning platforms like CNN and MSNBC have approached the story more cautiously, focusing on the legal process, addiction awareness, and Hunter's troubled personal history. The disparity in coverage has contributed to the polarized public perception of the case. For many conservatives, the conviction reinforces long-held beliefs about elitism, double standards, and and deep state protection. For many liberals, it's a painful but personal episode that reflects the challenges of addiction and recovery. Independent voters appear split. Some view it as irrelevant to Joe Biden's leadership, while others see it as a character test. The media's role in shaping narratives has once again come under scrutiny, with accusations of bias, selective reporting, and even disinformation. In an era where trust in media is already low, the Hunter Biden saga only deepens the divide in how Americans interpret justice and accountability. Legally, Hunter Biden faces potential prison time, though experts suggest he may receive probation due to being a non-violent offender and a first-time convict. The sentencing phase is expected to be highly scrutinized, with critics from both sides watching closely for any sign of preferential treatment or undue punishment. Politically, however, the case has broader implications. Even though there is no legal connection tying President Biden to Hunter's gun charges, the political optics are damaging. Voters often blur the lines between a politician's personal and public life, especially in highly charged environments. The White House must now contend with relentless political attacks, revived impeachment threats, and a potentially distracted Biden campaign heading into a critical election. Meanwhile, Democrats fear losing moral high ground on issues like gun control and ethics. Some Democratic strategists even worry that continued attention to Hunter's conviction could become a talking point in televised debates, campaign ads, and social media warfare. In essence, while the legal matter may close in the courtroom, its political impact is only just beginning. As the dust settles on Hunter Biden's conviction, public opinion is beginning to form, and it may have lasting effects on the political landscape. Early polling indicates that while most Americans believe Hunter's trial was fair, a significant portion see the event as indicative of broader problems within the Biden family. For Joe Biden, maintaining trust among independent and moderate voters will be essential. The GOP is already crafting attack ads that frame the president as morally compromised and weak on accountability. Meanwhile, Democratic candidates are distancing themselves from the issue, focusing instead on local policy wins and economic recovery. The 2026 elections could see higher than normal voter turnout driven by scandal fatigue or renewed interest in political ethics. Much depends on how effectively the Biden administration handles messaging over the next few months. If the president can frame this as a painful but personal matter unrelated to governance, he may minimize the damage. But if Republicans succeed in linking Hunter's conviction to broader allegations of corruption, the fallout could reshape congressional balance and the path to the White House. Hunter Biden's conviction has opened a political Pandora's box. While the legal battle may be over, the political war is just beginning. For President Biden, this isn't just about family, it's about credibility, leadership, and survival in a divided nation. Republicans see blood in the water. Democrats are walking a tightrope. And the American public caught in the middle once again. What do you think? Should this case impact the presidency? Or should personal mistakes stay personal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth stories that the mainstream won't tell you.